Hi everyone, and welcome back to Learnosity's series of on-demand webinars. Thanks for joining us for our final long-term support webinar of 2023. For any viewers unfamiliar with our long-term support releases, they're strong, complete, and stable versions of our APIs. 3 times a year, we release these production-ready versions of our APIs, which are then supported for 2 years. My name is Monet Slinowsky, and I'm a Learnosity product manager based in Toronto. Later in the webinar, I'll also be joined by my fellow product manager, Hake. Today, we'll be looking at all of the enhancements and new capabilities from our third long-term support release of the year, 2023.3.LTS, made possible through the efforts of 50+ specialized experts in Learnosity labs. This release is part of an ongoing series of updates and enhancements to our gold standard assessment engine. Let's just briefly run through what's new from our release on the 25th of October, covering assessment, STEM, analytics, accessibility, and we'll finish with a special look at an upcoming product launch. In assessment, we're helping you take greater control over test timings, score language assessments more flexibly, and give learners their very own AI language tutor. In STEM, we'll talk about a time saver for STEM authors, scoring upgrades for 2 math question types, a new image-based math question type, and how to boost learner engagement with data visualization. In analytics, we've added cut scores to 2 reports and given you tighter control over data API. In accessibility, you'll see how we've improved perceivability for simple featured videos in a popular report, while also making assessments more operable for screen reader users. And to wrap up our webinar, I'll be giving you the lowdown on Author Aide, our AI-assisted content generation tool, which is just weeks away from launch. So stay tuned for that. So firstly, let's talk about what's new in assessment. Easily set secure time limits for your tests. With its clock relying on the server rather than local storage, our new start time setting lets you confidently set exact time windows for your assessments. Let's see this in action. The start time config offers 2 different options. Using the hard type, the timer commences the assessment at a specified UTC time and keeps it open for a set amount of time, max time. For example, if max time is 30 minutes, the assessment will close 30 minutes after the UTC timestamp. If the learner attempts to access this assessment prior to start time, they'll see a countdown. If they start late, they'll see a lapse time already in the timer. So if the test started at 3:30, I access it at 3:35, my test will end at 4. Using the soft type, here, we capture the UTC timestamp when a learner starts their assessment and end it max time later. So for example, with a 30-minute assessment window that the learner started at 3:35 p.m., it would end at 4:05. In some Asian languages, responses can be entered with full width or half-width characters. When young learners input words with the wrong width, instructors want to accept them as correct either way, but manually updating their scores is time-consuming. We've now added a feature to score character width more flexibly. Learnosity has partnered with Language Confidence to provide AI-powered language testing and assessment of spoken English. Integrating with Learnosity's question types, this partnership enables in-depth feedback on learner pronunciation, fluency, vocabulary, and grammar. And now over to Kate.
Thanks, Monet. Next up, let's take a look at our updates in STEM. First up, we have a time saver for STEM authors. For speedy selection while authoring, content creators can now include their own custom keypads in the Symbols Group drop-down menu for math and chemistry question types. Let's take a look at a demo. So here, we've set our question editor initialization options to include a custom keypad for the math closed formula V2 question type. So if we go to author a new question, we'll see when we go to the drop-down section for keypads, When we have our different symbol groups here, in addition to the standard groups that are pre-built, we also see the addition of our new custom symbol group that we added in. So we can easily now select that from the drop-down, and that becomes available to the learner. Additionally, we could use the exclude options feature if we wanted to remove some of these in the drop-down. So this is great if you have your own set of symbol groups that you want to reuse across maybe a curriculum or maybe your whole product. Next, we have 2 scoring updates for the math and label image with math question types. When scoring numerically equivalent to answers, there's a new option for accept only specific units that gives you some more control over which units the student should write their answer in. And we've also added the mathematically true method, checking whether an equation or an inequality is true. So here is the authoring view of a math closed formula V2 question type. The correct answer is set to the square root of 150 over 8 times 0.2 meters per second, and we're using the numerically equal to method, and so far we've also added in a tolerance. Since we have not selected the new option accept only specific units, this means that the student can either use meters per second, like was set in the correct answers, but they could also put an answer using a different set of units that's equivalent. For instance, they may use centimeters. So if we want to instead require only a specific set of units, we can select this box and then type in the units that we want to require. So here we might only want to accept meters per second. If we have multiple units here, we can enter them as a comma-separated list. So now if we go to check, well, this answer is still correct. Now the other answer that used a different unit base, centimeters per second, will be marked as wrong. With this LTS, we've also released a new image-based math question type. The new label image with math question type allows authors to place response boxes on top of an image for mathematical input from the learner, which is useful for subjects like physics and in geometry. Powered by our recently released math scoring engine, this question type is capable of auto-scoring the most advanced STEM content and showcases that refreshed UI. We're also providing the opportunity to boost engagement with data visualization. Through the Tuba Learnosity partnership, you can now author more attention-grabbing assessments. Enable learners to explore, manipulate, visualize, and analyze real-world data sets that enriches their experience, including a data set for Taylor Swift's Reputation tour. Next up, we'll look at our releases in analytics. First is on cut scores added to 2 reports. Which learners in the group are at a basic, proficient, or advanced level, who passed and who failed their latest test. Cut scores has been added to 2 more reports so you can highlight particular test scores to be seen across the whole report. Let's take a look at this in action. So here we're looking at the Learnosity demo site where we've updated 2 of our reports to show the cut score feature. And that would be last score by item by user report and last score by activity by user report. So here we're just displaying the default setting, and we've added in 2 options so you can see what possibilities are available. In one case, we might just want to highlight a pass-fail. So we have a cut score here of 50%, and we're highlighting the ones that are failing. At one level, we might want a little more granularity, so instead of just simply pass-fail, we can set it up so that we have different levels. So we could check who received distinction in that grade range and highlight those scores. We could then highlight for credit, pass, fail, and this allows instructors to quickly see which learners are in which categories so they can intervene as needed. In analytics, we're also providing tighter control via Data API. Querying Data API can be like drinking from a waterfall, but now you can stem its flow. Receive more manageable results by specifying a date-time range based on a session's start time, completed time, and updated time. Now over to Monet, who's going to talk about the work done in accessibility.
Thanks, Kate. Now let's look at the progress we've made in accessibility lately. We now have the capability to add captions and transcripts for videos added to questions via the rich text editor. Authors can now upload a caption URL or set a transcript to play these videos complete with captions. This will make the videos much more accessible for learners. When it comes to accessibility, headings are vital. You can now configure levels for the screen reader headings for questions and features, or disable them when necessary. This allows learners using screen readers to navigate assessments more easily. If information is conveyed in color alone, some visually impaired users can't access it. We've updated our session list by item report to include icons as well as color in order to clearly communicate when learners' answers are correct, incorrect, unattempted, or partially correct. And finally, we're going to look at Author Aide, an upcoming AI product that we're delighted to be releasing very soon. Learnosity's upcoming AI-assisted authoring tool is set to dramatically boost productivity for assessment creators. Powered by GPT-4, our intuitive UI will let authors quickly create high-quality, high-volume item banks in any subject, at any level, in multiple languages. On November 14th, we'll also be sharing an on-demand webinar about Learnosity's journey into the world of AI, presented by CEO Gavin Cooney, Chief Product Officer Neil McGuff, and SVP of Product Michael Sharman. The discussion will cover the state of AI in EdTech, a demo of Author Aide, and the future of AI at Learnosity. So keep your eyes peeled for an email with the webinar recording. To receive updates on Author Aide, sign up through the link in the description. And that concludes our general overview of our final long-term support release of the year, 2023.3.LTS. If you have any questions about anything covered today, we're happy to answer them for you. Customers can log a ticket at help.learnosity.com. If you're not a customer, please email team@learnosity.com. We'll respond to all of your questions as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.